Hello, everyone. I'm Adam with Demiplane. Thank you for joining me for this week's development update and community Q&A session. We're going to jump right in with latest updates on the lineup. So that is going to be what we are currently working on. So this is all the food that's currently on our plate that we are eating up as quickly as we can. We've got a giveaway today of a Pathfinder standalone adventures bundle. This has got some great content in it. I really love adventure paths for the Pathfinder game are literally what put them on the map, being Paizo in the early days of the company. So adventure paths are incredible, but sometimes I'm looking for something that I can run. In parallel, we're missing players possibly from a session, or I'm trying to do a one shot. These standalone adventures, or possibly a 2 or 3 shot, depending on how big it is. But these standalone adventures are really good, and I think in some ways have some of the best content in the game. So we're giving away a bundle of all of those right now. If you win, congratulations. If you don't, you should check it out either way because it's some great stuff. Then we will talk about upcoming what's on deck. That will be the stuff that we will work on after what's currently on our plate is eaten all up. And as always, you can ask me any kind of question that you would like to throughout the entire show. We have our magical demibot collecting those right now as we speak, and I will get to as many as I have time for. I am going to try to have a hard stop at the half hour today because I got a lot of other things I need to accomplish before we ring the quitting time bell. All right, here we go. Latest updates on early access for Pathfinder Nexus. We are working on the new round of content that is coming out. We have Gatewalkers number 3. Is that right? I think we're on 3. Yeah, we're on 3 now. So coming to 3 with Gatewalkers. We've got Lost Omens Firebrands that we're actively working on. I'm seeing status updates popping around in our chat channels here internally. And then we are working, we got a little work in the last week or so on Agents of Edgewatch. So that is our back catalog adventure path that we're trying to get to as we can. And the update I got from the team yesterday is that we have done the content entry and kind of massaging all the content into the various places where the data needs to exist for 5 out of the 6 there. So we're getting pretty close on Agents of Edgewatch. So hope to share more on that pretty soon as well. On the Character Tools closed alpha, we are live, first of all, with some shield mechanics, the initial pass of that. So that happened last time. I was talking about it a little bit, but it wasn't quite live yet. So just calling that out here. And then today, we have some class feature updates. And even since I wrote this on this screen here, we've had a little bit more that is going into a build later today. So what we are doing now with these class updates is we are going through each class that exists in the game for Pathfinder, and we are taking the things that we have glossed over or skipped over to this point in the closed alpha, and then making those exceptional or slightly more complicated or whatever. We're making all of those things work for these classes. And so you'll see in the update notes here in a little bit more detail about what we mean there. But these are polished passes that are, of course, a requirement before we go into the to the open beta. But you're going to see several of these classes as we make the pass become far more functional in the builder. So this is getting to these are definitely some of the last steps that we are going to be doing here in the closed alpha to prep for open beta. I don't want that to indicate that, hey, we're going live with the open beta next week. That's not what we're talking about. These are just the last major steps. We've got a lot of the initial steps in a pretty good place from our initial plan with the closed alpha. We're progressing forward. We're starting to do more and more of this kind of polish, and that's going to continue with things like mobile and responsive views and spell heightening. I don't think it made it in today, but it's going to be very soon, maybe. The update notes might make a liar out of me on that, but we'll see. So we'll go through the in-depth notes here in just a second, and then on the Vampire Nexus and Avatar Legends Nexus, I've made a slight update here because we are no longer in necessarily reviewing the architecture as a phase here. We are actually working on what we call game elements. So these are going to be anything from a playbook to a move to a technique on Avatar Legends to merits and flaws and backgrounds and clans on Vampire. So all of those are what we call game elements, and each of those elements has data associated with it. And so we are actively working on that now, and we are also starting to work on engines, and so I'm starting to see real screens coming together for these games, and so really excited about the progress that we're already seeing very early as we've started to shift some of the focus to those two games as well. And then if you missed it, we are live with Destroyer of Worlds for the Alien RPG. That is a great cinematic scenario that you can check out when you get a chance. I mentioned this last week, but I'm just going to mention it again because it's really cool. It's just really cool. And so I wanted to say it at least one more week here. The Avatar Legends starter set is now available at Target. We have seen these out in the wild. We were in a meeting yesterday. I saw one of our team members had the box proudly displayed behind them on the video call. This is just a really, really great product. And if you buy this box set to try to introduce someone to the game, or even if you've been playing the game since the Kickstarter was announced, this still has some great content in it, including a couple of adventures, one for the Aang era, one for the Korra era. And in those adventures, you can redeem a code from the starter box to unlock the digital version on Demiplane. And if you're curious about the game, we also have the short rules that are available, kind of the rules booklet inside that box. That is now available for free for everyone on Avatar Legends Nexus. So you can check it out if you've been curious about the game. All right, diving into the Character Tools closed alpha update notes for today, which is 3/7. Time is marching on. It is already March. I literally did not intend for that weird pun to happen. So I apologize. I really did not think about the March and March there, but I heard it as I said it. All right, here we go. The Builder's Alpha modal that prompts acceptance remains closed once you've accepted it. So this is one of the biggest changes in the alpha. This is one of those situations where this was supposed to happen right from the beginning, but then we kept having bigger and more important things to work on. And so fortunately, you're not going to have to accept that every time that you jump into the builder now. Unfortunately, you're not going to see my smiling face greeting you every time, unless you want, just a GIF or something. I can make one of those publicly available that you can just open beside, some kind of macro when you open the character builder. But the modal is now supposedly gone after you click accept. If that seems to not be the case, let us know because that is a bug. All right, work continues on mobile and tablet displays for the builder and sheet. You'll see some changes coming in there. We're definitely not done with those things yet. So you can still hold off on reporting any issues at this time. I will make it pretty clear here in a dev update. We'll also share it in all the places that you get your closed alpha updates and news when we were at a point where we feel like everything is as it should be. And then if you see problems at that point in time, it would be very helpful if you let us know where we can get those things resolved. And then we've got some fixes for cantrips notes, which are things that you can access in the sidebar drawers in various locations on the character sheet. You can now use those again. So you can type a note in there, hit enter to save it. And then basically this allows you to put custom notes on different types of elements that you're opening in the sidebar, class features, those kinds of things. So notes are available there, and we've still got a little bit of work there, but we have reactivated them for use. All right, let's see. Make sure I don't jump the wrong one. Here we go. Spell slots of a given level can now be filled in with any spell. So yeah, it looks like the at least part of the heightening stuff did get in here. And so this is just a change to the parameters for how you can change spells to reflect how you can actually play it in the game. That is going to be in there. Weapon attack calculations are now broken out for display. So this is a big one. We have to build this stuff in the first place in order to get the bonus right. And so we will show the math behind what's going on. So this is really important for people to be able to investigate, why am I getting that circumstance bonus, or what's going on here, or whatever. So all of that is actually broken out for display now. Check that out and let us know what you think. And then fighters. So these are the class feature updates I was referring to earlier. So fighter class support, you can see combat flexibility now allows selection of feats in the builder. Weapon legend now allows user to select which weapon group to improve. So these are the kind of updates that I'm talking about when it comes to classes in that way. And then finally, we also got some things in for wizard. So initial proficiencies are now there. Resolve some issues that we had there. Magical fortitude correctly sets the fortitude saving throw proficiency to expert. So all of those kinds of things are what I'm talking about when it comes to making comprehensive passes on each of these classes. We're not done with these classes yet, but these are some of the types of updates that you're going to see as we continue on towards the open beta. So rogue class support, I'm not going to read it there. The notes will be available later when the build goes out today. But making progress, and we're going to continue to fine tune all of these things, getting ready for the public release. All right, it's time for a giveaway. And today, as I mentioned, we are giving away a standalone adventures bundle. So good luck to everyone out there. Let's jump into upcoming. So in the character tools closed alpha, this is what I shared last time. These are this is kind of the, we'll call it the feature roadmap, because we have a ton of work that is still continuing for things like what I just described with those class feature updates. But these are the features, the bigger features that are going into the character builder or the character sheet before we publicly release into open beta. And so all of that is still in front of us. And as we continue to work on one, I'll highlight it there. And again, just because something isn't updated there isn't necessarily saying anything has changed or whatever, because as I said, there's a lot of other work going on for things like comprehensive passes on the class features of each class. So that work is, kind of ongoing and continuing. But this is just the list that's out there to try to kind of illustrate what other big rocks we have before we're going to switch over into the public open beta. We've got 5e Nexus early access still coming this spring. It reminds me when I walk outside and it was 80 something degrees yesterday, when it just really should not be that hot already. That spring is really coming. So expect some more news on 5e Nexus before too much longer. And then game content wise, no updates really here. This is our target list for what we're working on. But I will say that I've now switched Firebrands into the on progress since we're actively working on it. And then High Helm is also coming. So I cannot wait for Lost Omens High Helm. That is going to be a really, really epic thing. I can't wait to really dig into that one. All right, and then finally, we have our monthly after show for Children of Erte, which we, of course, call so cleverly On the Erte tonight. And we've got some great guests, and then me. But we have Alicia and Jen are going to be on with our wonderful host, Sam. And there is going to, I can tease a little bit. There is going to be a recap of a musical variety that will be premiering tonight during On the Air Tay. So if you saw Goodbye Normal, which was a recap via song for what had happened so far in Children of Erte, then there is going to be a new song that picks up, after Goodbye Normal. So the idea is one of these days when these adventures are complete, you should be able to just watch the music videos and tell what's going on. Actually, you're probably not going to be able to tell anything that's going on because, it's a recap, but you probably won't understand the recap unless you watch the show. But anyway, this is the way that the character of Silas Sorrell thinks. So that's it. But there will be a new music video debuting tonight. All right. I think that is it. We have time for the Q&A. 1 second. 1 second. I've got to clear my throat and I don't want to blow out the microphone. Here we go. I'm going to mute. Ahem. All right. Let's jump into questions. I see several coming in. You can go ahead and keep asking those now. Related to the Kingmaker Adventure Path, any chance of an online interactive kingdom sheet? This is a great question. And this is the kind of thing that, uh, we're going to answer yes. There's very much a chance here. It is not going to be very high on our priority list right now when we have the critical path of just getting a character sheet to work. But this is the kind of thing that we're going to all look at each other, in an internal meeting in another, 18 months, and we're going to be like, all right, what's next? And this is one of the things that's probably going to pop up, for discussion. So definitely something that is a possibility. It's not going to be a short term possibility, but it definitely could happen, and I could see it happening. Rex Verity, do you realize how much we appreciate all the hard work you and the team are doing? That is a question. You phrased it as a question. Very well done. And I definitely would not say that I fully realize, but I will say that I definitely understand it and appreciate all of the appreciation. So and the team does too. We have really, really wonderful jobs because we get to work. It is hard work, by the way. We talk all the time about how we play hard, but we work harder. As a team, and so it is hard work, and I don't want to make light of that at all. But hard work is a little bit easier when you know that you're getting to do it for something that translates into this kind of fun that we have when we play these games. And so I appreciate you, the sentiment and all of that. And we do have a really great team. And it might not always seem like it, but we've come a very long way in a relatively short amount of time. And a lot of that has been pushing a boulder uphill, and we are getting closer and closer to the place where we get to see that boulder start rolling downhill, and that's going to be a wonderful, wonderful time, and we can't wait for it. All right, Artemis Themp, which Pathfinder deity is your favorite deity? Great question. I'm a huge Desna fan because I just always love luck in these games. There's something about luck that from the first character that I played in D&D, luck played a pretty vital role in the story that we were going through. And I just love the meta element of luck as you're rolling dice, but then like especially mechanics that tie into manipulating the dice that are based on luck. I'm a huge long shot fan in Marvel, so I would definitely say that I think that it is Desna if I had to pick just one, but definitely like many of them. Let's see, Artemis Themp, did you know that the character creator now works on tablet? I appreciate you saying that. We would not classify it as working all the way as polished as it needs to. But yes, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, there are going to be some updates going out that various parts will work better than they have been. But we still have work to do to make it where it needs to be. uh, Kilvet, Silvet, can you tell us, fellow curious devs, what technologies you're using to create the character tools? So I am certainly not the best person for this, and I have, kind of threatened to make this happen at some point. But it actually came back onto my radar a couple of days ago. And to clarify, it's not that I don't know anything about technology. I could probably get us 75% of the way there with an answer, especially at a high level. But I do plan on at some point, hopefully soon, bringing in our CTO, Travis Frederick, formerly of the Dallas Cowboys, if you follow that football sport. But he is our CTO, and he would be great for me to have on to talk through that. And so your question has reminded me that I need to actually just let him know that I would like for him to join me here, and it keeps slipping my mind. But I'm making a stronger mental note about it now, and hopefully here in the next few weeks we can have him on, and he can talk a little bit more specifically about what's going on with some of the technology. Doug C plays RPGs. I do too, Doug. Any plans for you to go run or play a game in the castle in England? I had a chance to do some of those adventure, on-site adventure, running games right. I think it was March 2019 or 20, or whenever the pandemic started. And so I was lined up to go, and then it all was going to happen during the height of everything that's going on with the pandemic, and so I had to step out of that, unfortunately. And so I do hope that that is in my future, because I think that I belong in a castle, and so hopefully we'll see how that goes. Hopefully one day. Suidin, sorry. Does Adam have a recommended recipe slash method for brewing sweet tea at home? That is a really good question. And, honestly, what I am after is one of those, if you've seen them in restaurants, one of those stainless steel, like brewers, like the actual machine. Like, I am going to have one of those one day. I probably would already have one now if I had the room for it in my kitchen area. But yeah, I'm definitely going to have one of those one day. But I would say a couple of things for doing it at home. Is that you definitely need to make sure that you're using a stainless steel um, a pot to boil water in. Obviously, a kettle or something like that can work, but I use a pot. But stainless steel is a must, because otherwise you get, for somebody with a refined tea palate like I have, you really do taste other things if you do it in other containers, types of containers. But then, you don't let the water get all the way to a boil. So that's another thing. It's like it's almost about to boil, is how hot you need to get the water. And then when you put the tea bags in, when you are going to, pour it into a pitcher, using a glass pitcher is also a must, because again, plastic, you're going to taste it. But glass pitcher, when you're about to put the tea in there, then it's important to stir with a wooden spoon. That's another thing. But with the wooden spoon, as you're putting pouring the tea in, when you're filling up the rest of what you need to make the full pitcher, make sure that you're putting the water into the pot over the tea bags, because it's going to get a little bit more flavor out of the tea bags as you're filling that back up, and pour that in there. And then lastly, do a little squeeze with your wooden spoon with your pot, little squeeze on those tea bags as you're putting the last bits of water in there. I forgot the step with the sugar, but the sugar goes in with that initial batch where it's still hot, where the sugar will fully melt because you don't want any little granules floating around anywhere in there. That was very out of order, but those are all important key elements. I'm not very sequential in my thinking. But yeah, so those are the different things that we do at home. My wife really knows how to do it and makes incredible sweet tea. So yeah, maybe a little bit more feel when I do it, but the result is still pretty much the same. All right, Trixie Belle Dubois. I really want exalted character tools. What do you think are the chances of getting into the other storyteller non-World of Darkness games on Demiplane Nexus? There are no short-term plans for that, but there is always a chance for those kinds of things to happen. So if we see demand, rally all of your exalted fans out there and let us know about it, and then we will see what the future holds. Sylvette, maybe, sorry. Will it be possible to add homebrew content that requires custom formulas, i.e., the damage of a spell that depends on the caster's charisma? Those are all things that will be planned, yes. So when we initially introduce homebrew, I don't even know if it is accurate to call it homebrew, maybe. But it is going to be, in sheet editing. So it's going to allow you to make more ad hoc, on the fly edits. This is going to be similar to being able to, erase something on your character sheet and change it to something else. That's the initial phase, which again is definitely not the full ball of wax. We are going to follow up with a full blown homebrew system where the different modifiers and even engines that are kind of hooked up into that are going to be at your disposal. And so we have engines that talk about, intelligence is the key spellcasting ability, and you should be able to change that to charisma in the case of your question here. So yes, all of those things are going to be possible. We are going to give you access to the same building blocks that we use. But again, this is going to be a system that we want to have a lot of flexibility and usability. And right now, our system internally, it's absolutely getting the job done, but it is not ready for prime time for all of you to take it for a spin. So we're getting there, pretty soon. Raiden 225005. If you could add any TTRPG to Demiplane, what would it be? See, I can't answer this one. This is one of the few types of questions that I can't answer because the way that I will answer this is because I may be spilling beans that we're not ready to spill. And so I will say that all of the RPGs that I would want to see on Demiplane, we are already talking with publishers about that's the way that I will answer that question for now. Now, that's not to say that new games come out. Once we get current games, ready and on the system and available, then start setting my sights on others. But we definitely have some great games and publishers lined up, and some of which we haven't been able to talk about yet. All right, Artemis Themp, favorite ancestry and heritage. I think that I've done this one pretty recently. I think if we're talking, specifically Pathfinder, which is the assumption here, I am definitely an Iron Gut Goblin fan. There's something about goblins in Pathfinder that they're just so, iconics may be the word, but there's this idiosyncrasy to what they are, and it's like the look that Paizo has put together for the goblin combined with just their culture. There's just something that fascinates me about goblins. So I'm probably going with that. But I also think the last time I answered this that I mentioned dwarves because I am a big fan of dwarves, and this is one of the reasons I can't wait for High Helm to come. That's going to be a lot of fun. Speaking Beast, any chance of Nexus getting a hold of the Masters of the Universe IP and doing something with that? As I stare at my literal wall of Masters of the Universe toys, and I've got this great poster that I'm looking at right here behind my camera. Yeah, I'm a huge Masters of the Universe fan, and we don't currently have any plans for that. We don't currently have any plans for publishing original content, but that's not to say that that would never happen. Right now we are very focused on providing high quality digital tools for existing publishers who are out there doing things. But I definitely love that IP, and if nothing ever happens with it, then we'll see what the future holds. Anchor 89, will Pathfinder Society support come after the beta? Yes, it will be after. I don't know if it would be after the beta period itself, but it will be after the release of the open beta for sure. Pathfinder support, Society support will not be coming pre-open beta. That's something that we do want to get to, but again, right now we're focused on just making characters work. And at the end of the day, it's less convenient, but you can make a PFS character work as long as the tools themselves work to make characters. What we are going to do in the future is layer in that convenience of being able to have that validate without you having to do a lot of cross-referencing in all the other places that you have to validate. But that is something that would come after. Storm Knight UK, hello there. What's your favorite question to be asked, and is it about sweet tea? Yeah, I don't know. I definitely have several favorites out there. I always appreciate sweet tea. I mean, I do have a problem. Like, I'm trying to get in a little bit better shape. I've lost a little bit of weight, and I'm feeling better is the main thing. And so I'm trying to limit that sweet tea intake. But at the end of the day, I'm just being honest with myself. I'm not going to get rid of it. Like, I just like it too much. Sweet tea is definitely a favorite question. I love the dinosaur question because it just makes me get to think about dinosaurs. I cannot wait for this 65 movie. I hope that it's good. The Quiet Place is really, really strong. And so, the writers of that are making this 65 movie. So I'm really looking forward to watching that very soon. Can't wait. All right. JXM040, have you played Bunkers and Badasses TTRPG? Haven't played it. I am familiar with it, but I have not played it. Let's see. I am out of time, but there are two more that just popped in. I'm cutting off the questions right now. Aaron Lore, does Demiplane support dark mode? Oh man, this is classic. This is classic. Thank you for those precious memories. There are various parts of the site. I'll answer it for people that don't understand the inside joke. There are definitely places that are dark mode in the site, and so you're going to see this in various places. Some of the nexuses are dark mode by default, already. Something like World of Darkness with Vampire Nexus, it was going to be really, really hard for us to make that a light mode, website. But in the future, we certainly plan to make it to where you can toggle between light and dark mode in some of the other places on any of the Demiplane websites. And thankfully, I knew from my past life that dark mode was important. And so we've put the pieces in place to make that a much, much easier thing to implement when we get to that point in the future. All right, let's see. Yep. All right. So Artemis, I said I was cutting off here. So sorry if you didn't get it answered. If you could have any Pathfinder 1E Adventure Path updates 2E, which would it be? Yeah, my standing answer for this would be Kingmaker, but then we've gotten that one at this point. Yeah, I don't know. I would probably say something like Rise of the Rune Lords or something. Lots of nostalgia for that. Yeah, that's probably what I would go with. But before this year, the answer would undoubtedly have been Kingmaker because I'm a huge fan of everything that Kingmaker is doing. You should play it if you haven't played that one. All right, that is all the time I have for questions today. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here, for participating, for asking the questions and joining in here. As I said earlier, we have an On the Air Tay tonight. I'm going to be one of the guests, but we also have Jen Kretschmer and Alicia Marie with our host, Sam Delev. And it's going to be, a time of reflection and questions, but also there is going to be a premiere of a new music video. So check that out tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific right here on this channel. And I hope everyone has a good rest of your week. We'll see you next time. Later, Gators.